Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hunt, and of course, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. We're going to talk about the Mets here. We always talk about the Mets on this channel. It's a Mets channel. Really, this is the ultimate Mets fans channel. I'm not associated with CBS Sports. I'm not involved with Barstool, Bleacher Report. I get nothing and want nothing from these different corporations. I am a fan's fan. I know everything about the Mets, and I like talking about them as much as I can. If you want to listen to that, this is the channel for you. But let's get into this video. Pete Alonso. Now, before we get into Pete, just a couple of notes on this series that the Mets played against the Angels. It was interesting to finally get a chance to really see on a regular basis Shohei Ohtani. I've seen games of him playing, but boy, he's very impressive when you watch him. Over the course of 2 games that I saw him, runs really well. He's got an incredible swing. He doesn't let go of the bat when he follows through, which is unusual for a hitter to do. He obviously has this issue with his elbow. We'll see if he gets surgery. But boy, he's got some swing. Boy, it's just a real treat to watch it, even over the course of 3 games. David Peterson, he pitched rather well. Didn't he, folks? He pitched really well today in the Mets walk-off win against them. The 3-2 walk-off win. He pitched 7 innings, gave 1 run. He looked pretty good. He looked really good. Somebody who didn't look so good is Carlos Carrasco. I don't have the numbers on hand. At some point, I'll do a video on his numbers, how bad he's been. I'll do a short on it. His ERA is over 9 over the last 5 starts. His numbers are so piss poor. He should not be in this rotation. He should not be on this team. I know he's won a lot of games in his career. 100 games is not something to sneeze at. And I know he's had health issues in his life. But boy, he cannot be in this rotation. Bring up Joey Lucchesi for the rest of the season. I'd rather see some middling minor leaguer than watch this nonsense. The constant home runs, the constant giving up runs in the first inning. That's kind of what we've seen the 2 of the 3 years that he's been here. Now, on to Pete Alonso. Aren't you tired of seeing him getting hit in the head? Aren't you getting tired of him getting knocked out for a couple of days and not being able to play like he did back in June? You'd think the Mets would feel the need to sort of exert themselves in some kind of meaningful way to tell the other teams to cut this shit out. You think that the Mets could get some of these teams to cut this shit out. And it's obviously, I think we all know as Met fans, it's an obvious thing, and every baseball fan knows this. The most obvious way to get this stuff to stop is to hit one of their players. Simple as that. You don't have to, in this situation, you don't have to hit Ohtani. But you want to, and you don't want anybody to get hurt. That's the one thing. And I'm tired of hearing from these other teams, well, it was just a breaking ball. That ball gets thrown hard. I mean, you're throwing 85 miles an hour. That's hard. You ever get hit by an 85 mile per hour item, object? That shit hurts, when you get hit. That's not something and then to get hit in the back of the neck this time. Now, something to keep in mind, there's a reason why Pete gets hit all the time. 2 reasons. 1, he stands out over the plate. His hands are over the plate. 2, he's that damn good. You don't hit players that are terrible. There's only 2 reasons why you get hit. 1, like I said, you're over the plate or you're that good. Now, this Met team, we've talked about this Met team for the last 3 seasons now, how soft they are. And again, they didn't do the right thing today and retaliate. They should have retaliated last night in the 9th inning. They didn't do it. I don't understand this. And they didn't retaliate today. I mean, they won the game today, but this team's not going anywhere. Retaliate. The Angels are waiting for it. They're not going to be all uptight about it. Major League Baseball will be uptight about it because they don't want benches to clear and they don't want this stuff to continue. But this has been going on for 3 years with this Met club. And we saw what happened in June. When Pete got hit in that second game in June in Atlanta, that basically, and the Mets did not respond to it. Pete gets taken out. We all thought that Pete was going to be out I thought he was going to be out for about 6 weeks. with that wrist injury. And it really affected his season, and it affected the Mets' season. Because Pete didn't hit in June. He did nothing in June because he was nursing that wrist. So what was the excuse of the Braves? Well, it was just a breaking ball from Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton has great control. Hit that guy. Hit one of their guys. Hit Acuna. What's wrong with that? Hit Matt Olson. What's wrong with that? Hit the catcher. That'll send a message. That'll get that shit to stop. But they didn't do that. They didn't respond last year when it was obvious so many times last year in particular that pitchers were throwing at the Mets, and they didn't. And the excuse is, well, it's a breaking ball. Even today, Pete was making excuses for this pitcher last night. So, he's a young pitcher. No. If you watched the broadcast last night and you saw Ron Darling talk about it, Darling said in the broadcast, he's like, not too many times do I react as a player. And you would get his reaction as a former player. And he played on one of the meanest teams of the last 40, 50 years. We know what would have happened in that situation. Somebody from that dugout would have come charging out and gone after the pitcher. Or Pete would have. But this team needs to get tough. It needs to get mean. And this is the thing. There's not too many mean. There's no mean guys on the Mets. The meanest guy they had was Tommy Pham. But the problem with Tommy was he's not good enough as a player. And he was mean outside the lines. Just as much as he was inside the lines. So that didn't really work. He wasn't just good enough. The Mets need a player on this team that is going to be mean inside the lines. That if you hit one of his guys, that he's going to be the guy that says to the pitcher, you're going to get this next guy. Mets don't seem to have that. Pete Alonso, he's a nice guy. Francisco Lindor, nice guy. Brandon Nimmo, nice guy. Jeff McNeil, nice guy. All nice guys on the Mets. That doesn't work when you get constantly hit by these pitches. That doesn't work, folks. It doesn't happen. You're not going to be able to win if you have to worry about players getting hit all the time and you don't retaliate. You don't stand up for yourselves. You got to stand up for yourself. Simple as that. And like I said, this is not about players getting hurt. This is and the funny thing is Buck last night was upset. Today, it's like they sort of let it go. Why? They should have retaliated the ninth inning. Okay? I was thinking last night that there was what would have happened, and I'm surprised that I didn't get word of this, was that the Mets and the Angels got warned before the game. But that's not when you do. They should have done it in the ninth inning. The first batter up should have gotten plunked just to send a message. That's all you got to do. You don't have to go at a guy's head. Just get him in the backside, and that's it. And you move on and say, this is going to stop. But the Mets refuse to do that. It's not in their nature. It's not in this organization's nature. They've got to get mean. If you don't get mean, you get run over. And the Braves ran over them in that 3-game series because Pete was out, and the Mets got run over in June and have not recovered since. They've not recovered. You look at their record. What was it, 7-19 in June? And basically that point when they played the Braves, that second game against the Braves, they ran over Pete and they ran over the Mets, and that was it. And that's what you get. And that's what we've been dealing with for the last 3 years, is a soft team that will not stand up for itself. And this has got to change. If they're gonna, we know that the issues here are that they were an older team, but the problem is they're soft. They are a soft team, and they've been a soft team. This group has been soft. They need some toughness in this organization. I don't know where they're going to get it. I mean, I would mention a player, but I'm not going to talk about him because he's not in the major leagues yet. But a player that has a tough kind of edge that they just brought in. But I'm not going to talk about him because he's years away. But anyway, this is a team that has a big problem, not just in terms of the lack of pitching on it. And they mentioned that the Mets were 7th overall at hit by batters this year. But here's the thing. They're one of the worst teams in terms of walks. And so that kind of tells you that they're all over the place, okay, with the pitching. So to me, that doesn't really wash, in my view, as to where this team needs to be. This team needs to get tougher. They need to be willing to get a bloody nose. If Pete's taking a ball off the back of his neck, you don't tell everybody to calm down. You go after that pitcher. And you go after the catcher. This thing would have flown over. The catcher didn't say anything because the catcher knew. And the same thing with the Braves. I don't care if Charlie Morton was down on his hands and knees, was on his knees, hoping that Pete was okay. He didn't give a shit. And the Braves didn't care either, for that matter. But like I said, this has got to change. If it doesn't change, then next year they'll have a good record. Then something will happen. Pete will get hit again, and they'll get blown over by the Braves again. Is this what we want to keep watching time and time and time again? No. Bring in some players in here that are going to have some edge to them, that are better than Tommy Pham, that are really good players, that are willing to make that move. If not, this is going to continue. Simple as that. That's just my little rant on this because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. And Pete's going to get hurt. He's going to break a hand. He's going to get hit in the head really bad one time, I mean, this is ridiculous. And this goes for all the guys, but Pete in particular because they go for his head. He's always getting thrown out around the hand area and around his head all the time. Well, you let me know what you think about this video, my little rant on sticking up for yourselves. So, thank you for watching this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut, and I'll see you later.